to another edition of Between the Posts from right here at the beautiful Settlers Hotel, recently renovated. Welcome, Tim Pillion.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy.
How good is that playground looking?
Oh, fantastic. I'll have a turn after.
3-story. My daughter's is in India, heading on there for the first time today, having a bit of function here because it is beautiful here. But what else is beautiful is we have the penultimate round is in the books for men's footy, and it's exciting. You're going to be here to talk about Div 2, and it's hotting up. The top team going down yesterday.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it is still exactly what we predicted. Div 2 still goes down to the wire last round.
Yep. Did you have some things that caught your eye yesterday?
I have got a lot of things that caught my eye yesterday.
Of course, you'll join me for the Div 1 report. Marks of the week, goals of the week, coach of the week, all that and much, much more, as it is every week on this week's edition of
Between the Posts.
Welcome to the BTR Excavation Division 1 wrap with Tim Pillion. Tim, it's great to have you back.
Thank you, Tommy. I'm glad to be here.
You'll be a handy asset, not just because of your research, but you've looked at about half the teams in your commentary duties when you've been on commentary this year. Can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Let's start straight off that with a huge game. Glenunga coming off 8 in a row, sitting in 4th place, took on top of the shop Port District, and it was a thriller in Manila. Glenunga 13-7-85, Port District 12-10-82. A 3-point win to the Rams. That is a huge result. Listen to the margins, Tim. 5-2, 4-3. Never more than a goal at any break.
Wow.
Ethan Smith with 4, Big Stevie Prosser with 3, Noah Wood with 2 for the Rams, whilst Port District a spread of goal kickers, 8 individuals, and then Sam McKay and Tom Gray with 2. My question for you off the bat, that's 9 in a row for Glenunga. You've seen Glenunga. When did you see them? How long ago?
When they played Salisbury North out at Salisbury North.
2 weeks ago.
No, 9, 10 weeks ago.
11 weeks ago.
That's
and
that
they were all over Salisbury North that day. They were up by 5 goals and let it slip, and that was probably the turning point of their season, just about.
It was one of the best games of footy I've seen because it went backwards and forwards, and both sides proven to me now why they're in the top 5 in Div 1. Glenunga are a threat, and they're on a roll, and they're doing everything right.
Yeah, they're going to be a real danger. Nathan Graham, I wish you get well soon, mate. We've both got our health problems, me and Nath. So we talk a fair bit. He's still in hospital. Saw a horrible photo of his leg yesterday, but we're talking a fair bit, and he thinks that he's excited about what they're doing, and they've got a roll on. How long can they roll? They probably just can't afford to make any mistakes. So good luck to them. Just looking at the commentators' notes, mate, it was a muddy, dirty deck. It was a slog of a game. You haven't been to Glenunga this year, have you?
No.
It's a small oval and it just condenses. 800 juniors that float through there. It just chops up and it makes for tough conditions.
Yeah.
Was that similar going at PAC yesterday where you were, the midfield?
It was. The centre square, as always, the bog, the cricket pitch, all that sort of stuff. So I'll mention that when I talk about the game yesterday.
But, I guess the point I'm alluding to, when it is like that, it's the midfield battle that becomes so important when you get the ball out of that middle, isn't it?
Exactly.
You don't want to get stuck in there. Glenunga were great at the contest, and this is the commentator's notes, great in the contest and took the chances. Big Stevie Pross and Ethan with 7 between them. Ethan Smith, son of Marty. Hello, Marty. They were the best forward duo on the day, and when you've got a forward duo firing, it tends to be half the problem solved.
And believe Zach Smith held Shep pretty well yesterday as well.
Well, Shep would have been, he didn't kick 2, so he might have kicked 1. And we don't give votes at the moment, but you suggest he might have been the best defender on the ground, so he could be around the mark. Interesting as well, and I know this is a theme you'll kick off on. No Abe Davis, no Michael McMahon yesterday. The belief was that Glenunga couldn't really move ladder positions too much, and they probably could have played. Interesting.
It is very interesting. Part of my what caught our eye discussion and the theme that I'm going with will be heading into the second last round and last round. What do clubs do and coaches do with players, key players, resting, niggles, all that sort of stuff?
Yes. Again, we won't do votes. There's only one more round to go, and I'm sure one day we'll announce a prize as well. But better players, no particular order. Joey Haynes, Modestach, Kenny Carps, Gouldy and Davo, all excellent for Port District. And they had more scoring shots. This was a cracker of a game. I watched the last 5 minutes after our game finished, and the old Puppa valve was clenching because it was close, it was exciting for Glenunga. Warwick, Sam Warwick, recruited from Ardrossan, so that's a good recruit. Zachy Smith, big Geordie West, big clunk right into the game to help save the game. Pross, and the man they call the Wiz was very, very good. This does change things up. We'll get to the game preview later on, but Port now go to second. Glenunga now with a chance for a double chance if things go their way this week.
Amazing.
But the team they will need to drop is a team that hit some form, and their biggest win in Division 1 history for them was Golden Grove sitting in third, 21-19, 145, PNU 4-4-28. The goal kickers, toot. The party buses arrive with 7. Jack Pullinger. Golden Grove actually put a very funny post up about Jack Pullinger Googling where you get Jag Meatwork snags from and all that kind of stuff. Really extracting the PI 55 from the young fella. Giles and Patterson both kicked 2. Whilst for PNU, a fantastic effort from, and I hope I'm saying it right, Fatu Mapu. I'm not trying to be funny. It's M-A-P-U, Mapu, maybe Fatu Mapu. He kicked 3 of the 4 goals. That's outstanding. Margins 25, 59, 90 and 117. Golden Grove just too good. You've watched Golden Grove at their best. They move the ball as well as anyone.
They do. The game I watched them, Golden Grove, and to the game of yesterday, I went through the players, 7 different people on the board. So the game I watched, they lost and they had a lot out and they're back to strength again now.
Yeah, just missing Shentz, who'll come back into the finals. But it was the midfield dominance that gave the forwards the good looks. And yeah, when Golden Grove had the freedom of ball movement, they would look irrepressible. We had a big highlight though. That man, it's a Jag Meatwork snag of the day, Mobila Jack.
Inside 50, through Kane Hoskins. The one-hander gets it with his second after it drops to the floor. And now the snap coming from Ajak. And he gets it as well. Nagu Ajak has all the skills and all of...
Yes, well done to the big fella there. He was great in ruck as well. Some of the better players. The pit dog was very good. Pullinger, Jack Weaving and Pascoe. Also PNU, Taj Kleinig, Ruben Carino. He'd be just around about the mark of Team of the Year honours. Dill Pippett, Gibson and Mapu with his 3 of 4 was excellent. Tough year for PNU, but they've always been very, very good at bouncing back.
Oh, look, Gary's done a great job. He's still got the place held together beautifully and he's getting games into kids and new players and he's trying to find out what he's got for next year to be positive and bounce straight back. Yes,
and we wish them all the best. They tend to, as I said, and I'm sure they'll be, well, they won't have an 0-18 season next year. I'll give you the red hot tip right now. Next one, Tim, and time to pat you on the back, sir, in our commentators chat. We've got one of those WhatsApp commentators chat that pings off at all the wrong times, but anyway. You said St. Peter's are coming. You watched them the week before. They were excellent, and they'll cause an upset, and they did. It was 9th place St. Peter's against 7th place Atherstone. Spockers, 14-14, 98. Atherstone, 7-11, 53, 35-point win. Nick Michaels and Tommy Rundle with 3, enjoying his move up forward. De Cesare and Colley with 2. Whilst all singles for Atherstone, the margins 17, 31, 48. So they really did control the game all day, ultimately winning out by 45. What made you, I won't say social, but what made you create the tip? How did you come about that?
Watched St. Peter's last week, called the game against Salisbury North. They played a man-on-man, tough physical game, and I thought they were really strong and really quite good. And their second bottom position on the ladder didn't really represent how I thought they played. Atherstone, nothing to play for. They're going to finish 7th. They were 7th, up, down, all that sort of stuff. 6th,
sorry, they were.
And then
6,
basically, I thought St. Peter's, with that threat of relegation, would bring it all. And at home game, they did so. So, yeah, I thought it was a good tip yesterday and it came through.
The word I'd use to describe St. Peter's is honest. They're a very honest team.
100%.
They commit, they put their head over the ball. Probably missing a forward to make them dangerous. I know they had a bad run with injuries and they dropped 7 or 8 in a row. That hurt their season. We're expecting more from them this year, but... we thought at the end of the Salisbury North game, that's probably it. They're off to Div 2, but they have said, nah, we're not just going anywhere yet. It's only 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago it was. 3 or 4. It was the last kick of the round and they stayed up and sent Goodwood packing. We haven't seen Goodwood since, so watch out for Spock. Just looking at the commentators' notes from the handsome and talented Dylan Crichton, it was Spock midfield that was lethal and efficient, and off turnover, they actually really hurt Atherstone. It was clear the loss, no Mitch Grigg, allowed the midfield of St. Peter's to get on top. Got a highlight. This is Tommy Rundle with apparently, I didn't see it myself, a contender for Mark of the Year.
He's going to go back into that pocket. Oh! Oh my word! Tom Rundle.
Did I miss anything off the commentators' notes there, Tim?
I think Spock got a bit of a run on late in the first quarter and then carried it through to early in the second quarter where they kicked about 4 or 5 goals in a row.
Yeah.
And that's where they got control of the game and held on.
Yeah, no, they're beautifully done there, mate. And plenty more scoring shots to suggest better team won on the day. Better players, no particular order. We'll start with Athelston. Matt Murray, Douglas, Barton, O'Brien and Stevens. Whilst for the Spockers, Henry Stewart, Rattray obviously won the ruck and was named right up near their best. Nelligan, Colley, Allen, Carruthers, Nick Michaels, pretty much the usual suspects. They've got a good, consistent team. And as I said, very honest, interesting when we get to the games next week. It's going to be, it's coming down to round 18. Next one, Ross Trevor versus Tea Gully. Ross Trevor was sitting 5th, Tea Gully was sitting 7th. Apologies, I did say Athelston was 7th, they were 6th. Ross Trevor 10-9-69, Tea Gully 7-8-50. For Ross Trevor, McCormack and Boxer continue a nice purple patch where they're kicking goals 3 apiece and Piro kicked 2, whilst for Tea Gully, Latham 3, Personos 2. Pretty standard stuff. They always chime in, probably haven't had enough support up the front end. Again, really, really close, Tim. It was Gullies who actually led by 2 points, even at half-time, led by 5 at three-quarter time, but in the last quarter, 4 goals, 2 to 2 points. Ross Trevor, fine form at the right time of the year.
Well, they did, and again, injuries have hurt them and people, absences of players and all that, but they're playing this seesaw, Ross Trevor, up, down, but they're in the finals, hopefully.
No, they're in. They're locked in.
They're locked in.
Unless they lose 3 games in the last round.
Which brings me to the theory again of what do they do in the last round? Even finishing 5th, what they're going to do? Play their best side, rest players, whatever. We'll talk about that later.
But we will talk about that later because they really can't finish anywhere but 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. You know what I like, Tim? I like sausages. Oh no, sorry, it's not a Jag. It's not a Jag Meatworks snag of the day. This is a Cootsie's Cool. Alex Cooter Fighter-Feeties. Here's Cootsie's Cool is Xavier Tranfer doing Xavier Tranfer things.
Tea Gully, it's not out of it. Boxer will fly. What's he held on to? No. Tranfer, bouncing ball.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, well done there, Javier. Commentators' notes, they're a very even game, but the last quarter was the difference. Tons of stoppages. Gullies, as Gullies do, always fought hard, but it was the Rocks forwards that were the difference. I mentioned Boxer and McCormack, and a couple more just starting to make their way back in. That round finals could become very dangerous.
I think they'll get Wakeland back.
Yep.
And Lanzoni returned yesterday. So
yeah, Lanzoni, a nice trip from Europe. Wish I had money to go to Europe in winter, but well done. That gives them Boxer, Lanzoni, Wakeland, Tranfer pushing forward. That makes them a much more dangerous prospect in the drier months of September.
key forwards are very important come finals.
They sure are. Better players, again, lots of stoppages, so you'd expect to see Blake Penny in there, Chris Olsen, Joe Rack, Breeden and Hoare for the Gullies. Whilst for the Rocks, Jack Michaelani, nearly called him Jim, old Nord player. Paddy Dawson's been in a pretty good vein of form. McInerney, Mead and Baldwin, he's had a tremendous year. All very good for the Rocks. Okay, now you've mentioned that you've seen them twice, so I'll have to get some comments off you on this one, but it was 8th place Sacred Heart taking on 2nd place Salisbury North. Sacred Heart 6-6-42, Salisbury North 14-9-93. Only multiple goal kicker for Sacred Heart was Clayton Simons, the captain, with 2, whilst a really nice share, pretty much all midfielders as well. For Salisbury North, it was O'Brien with 3, Johansson, Coleman, DZ Lawler and the returning Jaden Hall all kicked 2. Margins of 29, 31, 30 and 51. Salisbury North had control all day and were just too good. You've seen Salisbury North at least twice that I know of.
Seen it 3 times.
3 times.
And love the structure and their game plan, where by foot they're very, very, very good. I used the word elite in one of the games where they hit targets all day. And also have an engine room and a centre square like the best players you just mentioned, but also a very, very strong defence. And finals can be won in defence, on-ballers can get you forward, then you just got to finish the game.
It all starts with a reasonably handy ruckman as well, I might add. He's just tracking along okay. Yeah, look, it was the first quarter. You don't want to give away themes, but there was a big target on the wall on the weekend, and Salisbury North identified this game as it's not one we're dropping. Whereas Shock came in and they were calling it their grand final. It was their grand final to avoid relegation, so they threw everything in the first 6 or 7 minutes. Salisbury North withheld. The dam wall stayed strong, and they kicked 5 goals into the breeze, Salisbury North, and you felt like the game was over. It was 5 goals to nothing. Don't get me wrong, Sacred Heart fought very hard all day, but it was the midfield dominance. It was a ton of stoppages. Their ground was in a good condition, but it was still slippery, it was still spongy. There must have been 80 ball-ups yesterday, and Jake Russo was the one that was able to, for the most part, control the stoppages, but there was a few times where the hit, especially in the centre square, the hit to was just elite. He was able to hit to a running player moving through a stoppage and create breaks that set up scores or score assists. It was quite brilliant to watch. Got a good one yesterday, Tim. Not to go off topic too much, but I love the banter. It was past players' day and sponsors' day at Salisbury North. It was a good day out there. They had tons of supporters. I copped a beautiful sledge yesterday. I love a good sledge. I love the banter.
Yep.
Here, you will love this. You will love this. Salisbury North only doing well because of Javor's money, my TV money.
Your money.
How good is that? Oh, laugh. I nearly peed my pants. We'd be getting... I couldn't fund an under-8 Ingle farm team. But anyway, and Clayton Simons, he did see the interaction. He reached out to me. He's a great lad. It was all good fun. Who cares? It's, footy banter really gets to me. Good luck to Shock this week. That big game coming up for them. Better players. Reggie Rapina was outstanding in the middle. He was their best midfielder. Smith, Keel. I love Chucky Hilliard's game. I thought he was really good setting them up. And Raphael. For Salisbury North, O'Brien, 3 goals from the midfield is brilliant. Yep. Russo, Jones, Costanzo, Johansson. As I mentioned, Hawley in his first game back, and Joey Brown. I thought he actually won the battle with him and Cam Keel, and him and Clay Simons. He was on the 2 of them, but lots of little battles within battles. A good fun day. That's all I've got to say about that. Any other comments on that one?
No, they're going to be a big threat in the final, Salisbury North.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Just play that one down. Let's have a look at the ladder. The way the results panned out, it does see Salisbury North go top at the end of round 17. 13-4, Port 12.5 wins, Golden Grove 12-5, Glenunga 11.5 wins, Ross Trevor 10 wins, top 5 set, bottom 5 just to be respectful, no changes. The only real gender, so Atherstone 6, Teacher Gully 7. The real interest lies in 8th and 9th, both on 5.5 wins, 48.56, 48.28. That's 0.28%. Now, we've worked it out based on everything we've seen, that a percent has been around about, so 1% is about 7 goals. That's what we've worked out across the 2 divisions.
Yep.
So that must be about 10 points difference. So it is going to come down again, probably to the last quarter of round 18 to find out if it's Shock or Spock who gets relegated.
Correct. So my calculation is 18 points, but don't say that I know more than you. But basically, it's very close, and that works for and against.
Yep.
It's going to mean a lot going into the last round.
It certainly is. Interesting. I'm sure people who've got more time than us will work out exactly how many points it is.
I was only kidding, I made it up. Can I make it?
18 has to be too many for that amount, but anyway.
I know. An observation is that from Div 2 last year, Tea Tree Gully and Atherstone, both sides that went up, to consolidate themselves in Div 1 is a great result for both those clubs.
Yep, and they are likely to finish 6th and 7th, almost certainly.
Yeah.
So, it's great. We better look at the top half of the ladder before we look at this week's games, and I can tell you now that Salisbury North, Port and Golden Grove can all finish 1st, 2nd or 3rd. They can all still move around.
Amazing.
Glenunga, interestingly enough as well, could still finish with a double chance. So Ross Trevor have got nowhere to go but 5th.
Yep.
So see how that plays out. Let's have a look at this week's games. It's round 18, the final game of the year, and the implications that exist around it. Salisbury North host Ross Trevor. First time around at Ross Trevor, it was Salisbury North by 28 points. Salisbury North need to win to make top spot. Ross Trevor can't do anything but finish 5th.
Yep. And that speaks for itself, in my opinion, as if you know where you are, you're going to play an elimination final, Ross Trevor, plan your day accordingly and go from there.
Yeah, and we're talking about would Salisbury North rest players? Well, they can't. And if they finish top, they get a week off. So
that's when you rest.
The other thing is, still 4 players out of Salisbury North's best lineup that I identified, and I'm not the coach and I'm not on selection. Those 4 players want to be playing in the A grade, and it is their last chance to audition or get opportunities. So
love that.
That's what you want. But you've got to have that because Salisbury North B grade won't be playing. You'd expect Salisbury North B grade to go all right this week as well. But anyway, we move on. Tea Tree Gully versus Spock. Yes, I've changed my tip on this one. Tea Tree Gully by 10 points the first time around. Spock will avoid relegation if they win this game. Couldn't have any more on the line.
At Pertaringa,
At Pertaringa makes it tougher. Your thoughts?
I like Spock. I think they're motivated. They're up and about. It's a lot on the line from Div 1 to Div 2, and I'm thinking they're going to go close.
I think it was that 3 or 4 years ago I was calling them the cockroach kids. They couldn't be killed. They can't be killed out of Div 1, respectfully. I think they'll avoid relegation. I think they'll cause an upset against Tea Tree Gully, and it is an upset when 9th beats 7th away from home.
Yep.
Tea Tree Gully have plenty to say about that, but yeah, I'll take Spock as well. Athelston versus Golden Grove. First time round, Athelston got the chocolates, and it was at Golden Grove. They got the chocolates by just 6 points. Golden Grove playing for a double chance, or even potentially a home final, or even potentially top spot.
Yep.
Not even a lot.
Agree. And again, out at Max Amber, so Golden Grove for me.
Yep, Golden Grove for me as well. PNU versus Glenunga. Glenunga won by 118 points the first time around. Glenunga going for 10 in a row. Glenunga hoping that Athelston can take care of Golden Grove and they can sneak into third spot.
Yep.
Glenunga.
Glenunga for me.
Yes. And the last one, again, this is a big one. Port District versus Sacred Heart. It's at Largs, at Port District's homes ground, Country Living Homes Arena. 46 points to the good Port District the first time round. Again, they can finish anywhere from first, second or third, so they're going to have their foot in the throat. That loss, if they lose, they probably finish third, and it's an away final at Golden Grove. Sacred Heart, not only do they need to win to avoid relegation, but they may need to get as close as humanly possible.
Correct. Percentage will mean everything.
Yeah, I think Port will be too strong, coming off a loss as well. Port District for mine.
Yep, Port District for mine, but closer than what you think, because Sacred Heart will throw everything at them.
Yeah, so plenty to play for in each of these games. It's just a matter of what the top 5 looks like at the end of round 18. Stay tuned. It's going to be huge. We'll be back next week with more Between the Posts. It's time for the Bianco Mark of the Week. Thanks to Born to Build. Let's have a look at last week's winner. Apologies if I get the pronunciation wrong. It's a tricky one. It's Jamie Jones from the Salisbury North Footy Club. Well done to JJ, the big fullback there from the Hawks, and thanks to everyone that voted. Of course, you can vote. It's really simple. Just pick your favourite goal or mark, and then you tap the corresponding emoji.
Go back into that pocket. Oh! Oh my word!
It's time for What Caught Our Eye. Brought to us by Sam Doman and Co. And the man that brought us themes to What Caught Our Eye, Tim Pillion, joins me today. Can I ask you, is there a theme for you today?
Definitely a theme today, Tommy.
Well, I look forward to hearing about it. I always now go with research midweek on what game I think, and then check in on again on a Saturday night and a Sunday morning and just really formulate together. Apologies to Jack, this one might go a bit long because it is real close to the end of the season for some, and yeah, it's all happening. What do you got in Div 7, mate?
That is my theme. So it's all about the premiership table and the consequences of round 18. So basically, the top position is covered with Adelaide Lutheran, the bottom position is covered with Smithfield, and anything can happen in between on this occasion, but the finals look set. And I just wanted to mention Trent Payne, Brahma Lodge, 93 goals. Can he get 7 in the last round?
Well, he's got a bye in the last round.
Yes, that was my joke.
Okay. But he does have a final up his sleeve, maybe even 2. So is it 93, is it?
93, and I was going to say, can he make it in the last round? No, he's got a bye,
Yep.
so that was my joke. But
No, it's good. But he'll get at least 1 final, maybe 2. I had a look at second place Century United and third place Hackham as game of the round, and Hackham have done it. They've finally come of age. Century United 14-10-84, Hackham 17-8-1-10. That was at the home of the units, Nathan Fenwick Park. Isaac Paul, young Indigenous superstar, fast feet, kicked another 4, and Pager was their best. For Hackham, 4 players kicked 3 goals, so a nice spread there. Jordan Dinning, the star. So well done to the Hawks. They consolidate a spot in the top 3, and interestingly enough, they knocked Century United down to 4th. So Century United in round 18 now play Mitchell Park for a double chance. So that's very interesting. Hackham just coming good at the right time. Well done to the Hawks. Div 6.
Same thing, premiership table in Div 6. We've got Gazer at top of the table, can't be knocked off there. And we've got Ingle Farm, bottom of the table, can't do anything different there. But from 2nd to 8th, all positions can change with the conniptions of relegation at the bottom and also where they finish in the final for double chance.
Yeah, huge. OSB and Blacks. I thought Blacks might be a bit of and I need a whole segment for this one, but I thought Blacks might be a false dawn in third, but it wasn't. They went to OSB and got the job done. 19-8-122. OSB 7-6-48. James Ellis, the star, with 5 goals. But again, I thought Elizabeth were going to challenge Gazer. Didn't challenge them at all. At home, 5-3-33. Gazer 18-14-122. Bade no one tried hard for the Eagles, but of the Elizabeth variety. But for Gazer, Atkinson and Gibbs both with 4, and Jones and James, the better players, they are making every post a winner. The other thing that caught my eye, like I said, I'm nearly covering the whole division, Rosewater upsetting Houghton. This was Rosewater a week or 2 ago, call to arms, they're in trouble, they might fold. Well, now in round 18, they're playing for a spot in the finals. It's not a team in too much trouble for mine, but the fight is on because of that upset. Houghton now play Elizabeth. Houghton, of course, sit in 5th, while 6th place Trinity hosts 7th place Rosewater. So it's Houghton, Trinity and Rosewater. 1 will remain, 2 will fall by the wayside. Someone's playing finals out of those 3 teams.
Exactly.
I don't know who.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. Div 5, mate.
Div 5, premiership table. This is where I don't want to steal your thunder. I've got positions going everywhere. But basically, Paraka top spot, playing Smosh who are 4th, looking for a double chance who are 3rd. Greenacres who are 2nd, could win top spot. Playing Kenilworth who are 6th, but could win and finish 5th. I mean, I'm just going to be complicated there. And then you've also got the relegation side of things as well, where it's still open. So I'll let you do the fines. Ryan Clark, Stephen Clark, Greenacres, 71 and 66 goals.
Yeah, not too bad. 137 between them.
Yeah.
Tidy effort.
Unbelievable.
Looking back, and again, there's just so many machinations about the way this can unfold. From yesterday, it was 1st and 5th, Paraka taking out Woody South by 21 points. Kenilworth and Portland, 7th versus 10th, and Kenilworth have done the dishes with them. Portland, again, another team, unfortunately, are going to have a winless season. But the big upset, and this was huge, keeping their season alive when we thought it was all but done. 6th place Eastern Park, 20-14-134, knocked off 3rd place Smosh, 10-10-70. Never easy to visit Eastern Park, which brings us to the battle, which I previewed with Tommy Dorr a few weeks ago. Round 18, 5th spot up for grabs. Woody South are 8 and 9. They host St Paul's. St Paul's have played spoilers just 2 weeks ago. Kenilworth 8 and 9 host Greenacres. In 7th place, Eastern Park 8 and 9 host Salisbury. If you can get an upset win, you can make finals. So it's an interesting one. You expect Woody South to go through, but they've made it hard on themselves. So yeah, very interesting stuff there in Div 5. Div 4.
Div 4, premiership table, same thing. First position, Hectorville. Scotch are 2nd, 1 point separating them, right? So again, top spot up for grabs, amazing. Marion are set in third, but they could possibly win and jump to second if others lose. And then down the bottom, unfortunately, Colonel Light and Pulteney are both set. Although Colonel Light, if they upset, could avoid relegation. So it's just unbelievable what round 18 is doing for us come the last round. And I do want to mention Max Marsland, 96 goals, but I know you'll do that.
Yeah, no, but I'll just go back one step. You're right. Colonel Light have put themselves in a position now. They beat Hope Valley at home in round 18. Teams can do funny things. They can avoid relegation because Morphy, also at home though, hosts Scotch. So Morphy, who've never looked like getting relegated at any point this year, all of a sudden could find themselves in relegation if they're not careful. I did look at the Scotch and Colonel and CBC game. It was Scotch far too good to the tune of 38 points, 67 to 29 because of Max Marsland, but he just kicked the 2. Hopefully for Scotch's sake and his sake, can get the 4 in the final round so they can focus on other things in finals. But yeah, the top 5 was already set, but positions, as you said, can change. Div 3, mate, I wonder if you're going to talk about one of the upsets of the year.
No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about my theme, which is Premiership table and how round 18 will form the finals. So top spot is still up for grabs.
Yep.
Seaton Ramblers are game clear. But you've got teams that are second, third and fourth. Walkerville, Foss and North Haven all on the same amount of points. So there's the mechanisms of win, lose, where you go, percentage, top spot all the way through to fourth spot. Unbelievable Division 3. Plympton is the only side finishing 5th that can't change. So one of the things I want to talk about is, do you rest key players heading into finals? Do you try and keep momentum? Do you try and play for spots? Or do you just know you're playing an elimination final, rest key players and don't worry about the result? Because Plympton could, who they're playing, be different to upsetting, you know what I mean, the other sides on the tables.
And this is not the only division where that happens.
Correct.
There's teams, it's a very interesting question.
Plympton playing a uni, that's what I thought, yes. So it doesn't
Playing
matter.
uni?
They're playing uni, bottom side, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, it probably matters to Uni. Uni would love a win to close out the year. All right, having lunch with their footy manager today, so I'll give him that information. So, bite their cherry right for the picking stump. But for me, I talked about the fact that I haven't mentioned them as a premiership threat all year, but yesterday they just went, head on down to the Skull Cave. There's something a-brewing here. Third place, Foss Camden, 19-18. They've smashed Seaton, the top place Seaton, 8-10-58. Treadwell with 6, Dunn with 5. Jock Van Kempen is got a name for the NBA, best on ground. Whilst Jack Moff Murphy was very good for Seaton. That's a huge win for Foss Camden because they have put themselves in that equation you were talking about, where yeah they can keep going and pushing up. North Haven in 4th place, 7th place Kilburn is who they hosted, and they in the Battle of the Sollies, it was Jamie Solly with 5 goals that led North Haven to a 58-point win. Mark Rowe, best on ground. Son of the Garden Gnome, Braden Lauder, how do I get his name wrong? He was best for Kilburn, who won't play finals now. They probably can't finish any higher than 7th. Div 2, Tim.
Div 2, we've done a lot about Div 2
in
my
Div 2
segment,
wrap,
but basically the Premiership table is my key. Can you believe the Premiership table reads 25, 24, 21, 21, 20, right? So basically positions can change coming into the last round. Do you rest players? Don't you rest players? Do you play your full side? For me, I'm play your best side and go with the consequences. You can have a rest in 3 weeks' time if you're not playing finals. Simple as that.
Yes, interesting to hear you say 21-20. I can't be the only one out there that thought of Claude Hill, international DJ. Anyway, story for another time. Broadie's too good for... Again, we dive real deep in Div 2, but Broadie's 5-point win over Modbury gives them a chance. At the double chance, they sit 3rd.
Yeah.
Check out the Div 2 wrap. We have a good look at it, and it's an exciting finish to the year. Let's go to Div 1 though, mate. What caught our eye?
Well, that was the scores that I did on the Premiership table there. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. Can you believe that? That's the points. 1 point across when everything is 2 points for a win. So Div 1 for me, anything can happen. Lockie Pascoe with his 6 goals. Just the finals, relegation. Do I rest players? Don't I rest players? What do I do? That's my theme for this. I think round 18 is going to be so captivating across all grades.
I think Ross Trevor should rest players in round 18. I had a look at Glenunga hosting Port District. I saw Abe Davis and McMahon weren't playing. I thought, oh, Port will win this, but they didn't. It was Glenunga by just 3 points thanks to Ethan Smith and Harry Prosser. Sam Warwick was their best, the boy from the Ardrossan. Yeah, a great win there for Glenunga, which has changed the top 5 around a little bit. And the very, very live relegation battle between Spock and Shock heats up. Comes down to round 18. Check that out in the Division 1 wrap.
And that's the one that we need percentage and a win-loss, but every other game, no percentage needed. It'll simply come down to whether you win or lose the game.
Wins and losses, and whether you're playing finals or not, a win in round 18 is something to celebrate. So everyone wants that. Thanks for watching What Caught Our Eye. We're back with the final in-season minor round edition of What Caught Our Eye next week.
You've seen him around town. He walks with purpose. With only a short introduction, he leaves a lasting impression. This morning, he was a regular guy in a tee. Now, he's fitted with confidence.
It's time for our Peter Shearer, thanks to Born to Build, goal of the week. But we better have a look at last week's winner. It's that man from the Hacken Hawks, Glenn Draper. Now, most of you be aware that we do shoot the show on a Sunday morning at one of our great sponsors' locations today at the Settlers, but we do accept late submissions, and we will have a late submissions category, so you could potentially win Goal of the Year. Here's an example of one of this week's late submissions. It's that easy. You see it, you send it to jack@filmingfooty.com.au. We will accept it. Okay, you've just got to get them in. I can't go through and scan 69 games of football. All right, let's have a look at this week's better goals of the week, and you can vote with the corresponding emoji. Division 2 report with Tom and Tim. Welcome back, Timmy.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, now I looked at the games before we started. 4 really good games on paper and 1 top 5 team versus the potential spoon team. So a really exciting round. You took your clothesline last time was the only thing that's sure is nothing's for sure or something along those lines.
Predictable, unpredictable.
Yes, and we'll get to that right off the bat because it was second place PAC taking on first place Henley, and PAC got the chocolates 12-10-82, Henley 9-7-61. You went and you watched. Tell me all about it.
I did. I went and I watched. PAC were too good, absolutely too good. Led at every break. It was a tough physical encounter. The centre square was filled with mud, so the game was played around the outside, and PAC simply transitioned the ball and switched the ball a lot better than what Henley did. We like to use a bit of the corridor, couldn't use it yesterday at all. probably only 5 players I found out from just having a beer last night had ever played at PAC Park 9 before. Well, it's a changeover, a lot of refresh in the Henley side. So they didn't know how to play the game, and we got stuck on the near wing and just could not get past PAC.
As in the
Clubhouse side, yeah. They were too good on the day. Sam Sanders kicked his 5 goals, was a winning position.
I don't know Sam Sanders. Tell me about Sam. What sort of player is he?
Oh, he's both. He led up and took great strong marks, and then he took pack marks, and he got a couple over the back, but his kicking was elite. So basically, there was a moment in the game when Henley were coming and PAC were able to take a mark and kick a great goal. Do you know what I mean? And yet we took a mark when we were coming and we missed easy goals. Yeah. So it's just talk about putting scoreboard pressure on. But Sanders was fantastic. Wilkin, Pitt, Trengove were very, very good for PAC. Hodges, Sashaki and Blair, Sashaki, a 17-year-old kid. But having said that, they were very good on the day, and we just need to watch them. They're going to be a big threat.
So in the quag heat, is it fair to say you were there? I wasn't. Geordie Neal maybe won the taps, and then you got your Trangrove, Pitt, maybe even a Jolly Fleas with the old. When they're good, they're very good. When
we were coming, Craig Pitt just jumped across to a couple of pack marks, ran through a pack and spoiled a ball. I mean, like, seriously, where do you get players with that maturity and skill?
Yeah, former Glenelg lead footballer and former premiership coach. He's a good footballer. He knows when to throw himself behind the ball and that. He's a good general, good footballer. Team of the year as well. I've put him in a couple of times, not just because I like him. Tell me just quickly about Jordan Hodges, who was named your best on paper.
Hodges, centre half back. He's in a great vein of form at the moment. Marking, cut-off player. They're a very good player.
All right, let's look at the next one. Last time they met, it was just 1 point in it. This time, it was close again. Broadies in third place at home, 11-9-75. Seventh place, Modbury had to win. 10-10-70, a 5-point win there to the Tigers, who have come from the clouds. They weren't going to win a game. Well, they're sitting third, and wow.
So a couple of things here. Remembering Broadview didn't win a game last year in Div 1, came down to Div 2. Yep. Here they are sitting in third place. So we talked about Payneham Norwood Union not winning a game. Yep. They won't be like that next year. Having said that now, Modbury, who were a perennial threat all year, have been in the finals for most of the year. They've now lost 5 in a row, and they play Prince Alfred next week. So unfortunately, I think their season won't be playing finals. Broadview in their last 7 games have come really good. They're a 5-2, and both those losses have been less than 1 goal. So they're up and about, Broadview playing really, really well. Joshy Costa kicked 3 goals, continues to kick goals as an on-baller. Best players for them were Pearce, O'Leary again, and Sullivan. And the best for Modbury, again, familiar names, Minavini, Pisani, and Nathan Hearing.
Yeah, Modbury were not to question you, boss, but they were 8-4 Modbury, sitting third, and yeah, it's gone from chocolates to boiled lollies.
8-4, now they're 8-9.
Yeah, that'd be the 5 in a row you're talking about, maybe.
Correct, thank you.
That just took me by surprise. This next one was a battle of relegation, potentially. But in the end, the team who've been better all year won. It was Flinders Park away from home, 16-14-110. Westminster, 11-6-72. They will go back from whence they came.
Yeah, they will. So Flinders Park safely now to the relegation zone. Only a couple of weeks ago, it was still ticky-touch. They're way too good for that in this occasion. Unfortunately, Westminster, who had a good start to the season, but found the strength and player availability just too much for them, and they'll go down. McCann and Cruz kicked 3 goals for Flinders Park. Leck kicked 3 for Westminster. Better players, Clay Muirhead, Henry Trenorden and Kennedy. And for Westminster, Ross, English and Willits.
Got all my notes sorted out there, Tim. Well done. Next one, they're coming and they're making a move. It was 4th place Goodwood. They've consolidated 10-11-71 at home, taking out, and when I say taking them out of finals. Old Iggy's 5-4, 34, 37-point win. Old Iggy's, another team that have gone from top to out of the finals race.
Yeah, I know. I'll get to that quickly. But Goodwood kicked 4 goals in the last quarter to 1. That's where the game was won. It was a really close scrap all game, which is fantastic. Goodwood now have won 5 in a row. They've hit form at the right time of the year. We tipped them to finish in the top 3 earlier in the year, in fact, to play in the grand final. And they play Unley next week, which is, a side being relegated. So they're going to win their 6 in a row and come in with some form. Iggy's have lost their last 4 in a row, and it has been against the top 4 sides. So they've found their measure, and they play Westminster next week, so they'll finish with a win. But they're 4% from 6th to 5th.
30 goals.
30 goals. It's about 30 goals, which has to be the changeover for them to jump into the finals, which seems unlikely. The first time Old Iggy's played Henley, they whipped us, and we thought, wow, they're a good side. 8 different goal scorers for the Saints and 4 different goal scorers for the Iggies out of their scores. Goodwood and Cleland, Carlson, best players for Goodwood. Ferrari, McCarthy and Manson for Old Iggy's.
We talked about it in other segments as well, the importance of a heavy deck at Goodwood. Jade Cleland in ruck getting first use of the on-ballers, allowing them to take field position and structure up, knowing they're going to get the hit.
Getting
really
players
important.
back too, which is good.
Yeah, so important game there for Jade Cleland. Last but not least, it's not a pretty one, this one. It was Brighton 18-14, 122. Unley 4-7-31. It's a 91-point win and a wooden spoon for the Jets.
Yeah, decimated by injuries. Unley were very, very competitive halfway through the year. Brighton down by 9 points at quarter time and win by 91. 9 goal last quarter. Brighton, sitting 5th on the table, have the highest percentage of the entire competition, which just goes to show they can score on their day with Ben Simmons, the leading goal scorer.
56.7.
Yeah. Wellesby kicked 4, 3 players kicked 3. I won't go through those, but Higgins, Kennedy and Ricky O'Loughlin, John Cock, best players. And then for Unley, DeTulio, Bowman and Mills. And unfortunately, Unley and Westminster, the 2 sides that came up from Div 3 last year, are going straight back down.
That is correct. A nice little segue there to our ladder. We'll start at the bottom. You've talked about those 2 teams. Flinders Park will finish 8, 5 wins and 2 draws. Modbury currently sitting 7th on 8 and 9. Don't think they'll be going too far from that position. Old Iggy's 9 and 8, 52.66. They can't make it up. So the top, well, they're not going to make up 30 goals this week.
No.
The top 5 is set. It's just a matter of their order. Brighton in 5th, Goodwood in 4th on 10.5 wins. Broadview 10.5 wins. That's the interesting one there because that's where percentage is important. 1.67 by our estimations. It's about 10 goals.
Yep, correct. And that is it. That's the interest this week, is that the top 5 positions could still change. Top can change, 3rd and 4th can change. So very interesting.
I think they will stay the same though. PAC 2nd and Henley 12.5 wins, and it will be Henley that might play spoilers there for Brighton. We'll get to that in a minute. Better players for the year, Tim. I've got a few. Have you got any of them?
Oh, I've got a couple. So if you just go by the 4, Darcy Patani, Modbury, 14 out of 16.
That's good to hear.
It's a great year, but have they won enough games for him to be a threat on the medal? Heath Wingard, Brighton, 13 out of 15. Hayden Jolly, PAC, proven vote getter. Tom Carlson, Goodwood, 11 out of 17. Cooper O'Leary's my man from Broadview. Every week, 24 goals as a midfielder, playing really, really well. Harrison Cook, Flinders Park, and Will Ferrari, Old Iggy's probably leading the medal first half of the year.
Yeah, played Broadies in a trial this year. Saw Cooper O'Leary and thought he was Broadview's best by an absolute mile. He's got zip, he's got moves. He's just good fun to watch, whether you're an opponent or.
2 things to mention. Ben Simmons, Brighton, 65 goals for the year. Not playing at the moment, has a hamstring injury. Probably won't play this week. If Brighton can't change positions from 5th, which you can't, you'd give him another week and make sure he's back for the elimination. And James Bentley, PAC, their leading goal kicker with 37 goals, didn't play yesterday either, unaware of how long he'll be out of the game. The only other thing I want to mention quickly is Unley won 3 games for the year. Guess who they beat? They beat Henley, Goodwood and Brighton.
So they couldn't have beaten anyone on their
3
day.
sides in the 5, and they're all in the first half of the year. So their injuries got them in the later half of the year.
I won't go through. There's a whole bunch of guys in the 30s
Yeah.
for goal kickers. But I just want to say congratulations to Ben Simmons, former Centurion goal kicker for the CMS Crows, I think. 65 goals, 28 clear. So he wins the Div 2 goal kicking trophy or medal. I forget what the name of it is, but it'll be on there when you get it, mate. So well done. That's a great year. And he's not young, but I was excited to see him come into the league, and he's proved his worth there. So, and maybe we'll see him in Div 1 next year. Who knows? It will depend a lot on what happens in round 18. Have you ever got anything else before I go to round 18?
Nope.
You? Round 18, where we decide how those finals games will look. We'll start with Unley, Mercedes, Jets and Goodwood. Goodwood need to win to get the chocolates. As you mentioned already, Unley Mercedes beat them earlier this year at Goodwood by 3 points. Would Lightning strike twice?
No. Goodwood will win that one.
Yeah. Again, percentage matters, so it'll be interesting to see the result of that one as well. Westminster and Old Iggy's. Westminster, Old Iggy's first time round by 17 points. Should get the job done again.
Yep, Old Iggy's.
Yep. Flinders Park and Broadies. This is the way Broadies really found their straps in the first half of the year. They won by 56 points at home. I expect them to win again.
I'm going to tip Broadview because they need it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, Flinders Park are absolutely set to have a fun day.
Well, what Flinders Park can do is they can send Broadview out of the double chance zone.
Oh, I
so
know.
they can play spoiler. That in itself could be enough motivation. I've seen guys fight from the same team before, so who knows what you'll do with an opposition. Modbury and PAC, first time round PAC by 27 points. And look, 5 losses in a row for Modbury. I'm not sure they'll find a way in round 18.
PAC too strong. They were very good yesterday.
PAC with a outside chance to go top should they win, and the last result go their way, and it would be definitely game of the round because it's Henley hosting Brighton. First time round it was Henley by 18 points. Brighton will be looking to, again, you'd expect Goodwood to beat Unley, but they beat them first time round. Brighton could still win themselves a home final, or even potentially, if all results go their way, a double chance.
If all results go their way, but the thing is, Brighton can't, I don't think, get knocked out of the finals. So
No.
they will finish 5th or 4th, and they'll be playing in a elimination final. I think with Goodwood winning, if Goodwood beat Unley, that takes the 3rd out of the way. So
Haven't beaten them yet, though.
no, they haven't.
Didn't beat them last time.
My prediction.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll just do this quickly. The way we see the top 5 panning out, based on our tips, which we think we know, Henley will be top and get the week off. PAC should finish 2nd. Broadview should finish 3rd. Goodwood will host Brighton in the elimination final.
Yeah.
And the only thing that can happen here is we can get things wrong. But we'll see. Hey, anything else from Division 2, mate?
No, I think it's very wide and open, and the finals will be home ground advantage, leading into where it goes. Still unpredictable in my opinion.
Just looking back in the pre-season show in February, our top 3, we had the same top 3 in order without consultation. We had PAC, Goodwood, Henley. They're all in the mix, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
3 of the 4.
Beautifully done. Thanks for joining us, Tim. We'll be back with more Between the Posts. It's time for our Farmers Elite Coach of the Week. Thanks to Adam Joffa Jeffries for his wonderful sponsorship there. And it, once again, is a coach of a women's team. It's that man. We saw him on the show last week, Billy Campbell. Billy coaches the Broadview Tigers, and he has just got them through to the Division 1 Grand Final, courtesy of a good win over the Henley Football Club on the weekend. Now, 3 times this year, Billy has fallen to Tea Tree Gully by less than a goal. He gets one more shot in this week's Division 1 Women's Grand Final. Of course, it's not just shown live, it's streamed live. Commentated, the whole works. So Billy will be looking to show why he's our Farmers Elite Coach of the Week.
Hey guys, it's Tegan and welcome back to Adelaide Footy League. Division 1 Women's BTR Excavations. Only one game this week, and that was Broadview vs Henley in the preliminary final. Now, Henley have won this season the last 2 games against Broadview, but today, on Saturday, Broadview changed it around and turned the tables, winning 39-19, 6 goals 3 to 3 goals 1 out at Payneham Oval. Now, Broadview best on was Latonya Cockatoo Motlap, who had an amazing game, dominating all over the field. She dominated not only in the mid, but also in the forward line, kicking 3 goals, Nikki Cullen kicking 2, and Kellis Jackson Martin kicking 1. For Henley Sharks, we had best on Eliza Cooper, star mid, runners up in the best and fairest medal count for the league. Goal kickers went to Jess Birchall with 1, Lana Bruce, the young gun, with 1, and Karina Del Borello with 1 as well. This means that Broadview will be facing Tea Tree Gully in the grand final next week at Campbelltown Memorial Oval. Now, these two teams have faced off 3 times this season, twice in the minor rounds and then in the first round of finals for the qualifying final. So the first time they faced off was in round 7. Tea Tree Gully won by 4 points with an end score of 12-8. I think it was on one of those games where it was just the raining day, it was bucketing down. The next time they played off, Tea Tree Gully won by 5 points, and then in the final, Tea Tree Gully won by 6 points. So they are undefeated against Broadview this season, but it's only been by a goal or less margin. So we'll have to wait and see for the grand final if Broadview can overtake them and really come away with a great grand final victory. We'll have to wait and see. I've got a front row ticket to that game, so I'm excited to be watching. So that is all for the Division 1. Let's head off to the remaining divisions and see how their finals went. Welcome back to What Caught Our Eye in the remaining women's division. Now, first up is Division 1 Reserves, and this was Broadview versus Tea Tree Gully in a preliminary final. And it was Tea Tree Gully who came away with the win against Broadies 26-20. Only a 1 goal difference. Tea Tree Gully kicking 4 goals too, and Broadview kicking 3 goals too. Best on for Broadies was Georgia Robertson, and goals went to Elise Doyle, Kate O'Day and Sasha Taylor, all with 1 each. Best on for Tea Tree Gully was Lailani Raikiwausa, and the goal kickers for that was Amanda Close, Alexis Nias, of course, Amelia Phillips and Captain Ash Sims. A great game for both teams. Unfortunately, Broadview's just losing by that 1 goal, which must be devastating for a spot in the grand final. But Tea Tree Gully will be facing Morphees in the GF this Saturday at 1:55 at Campbelltown Memorial Oval. Last time these two teams faced off was in round 9. Morphees was the team who won just by 9 points, Morphees winning 31-22 against Morphees in round 9. However, in the second round of the comp, Tea Tree Gully did defeat Morphettville 39-9. So we'll have to wait and see. Both teams such a strong and have improved so much over the season. Have to go out to Campbelltown Memorial Oval at 1:55 to watch that game. Division 2, we saw Brighton Bombers versus Eastern Park, and Brighton Bombers came away with a 31-point win, 41-10. This was a great win, but it was a little bit surprising there's such a large margin, as last time these two teams faced off was in round 13 on the 17th of July, so just nearly a month difference, and Eastern Park defeated the Bombers 55-8, so they won by 47 points. So congratulations to the Brighton Bombers for winning by such a large margin as well for a team that has beaten them in the past. They didn't let that get to their head. But now for the grand final will be Hectorville versus the Bombers. Interesting game, as Hectorville were the team to beat Brighton Bombers and win by only 5 points in the qualifying final for those. So they have a rematch and a chance to win it again. Brighton Bombers can come back, and that game will also be at Campbelltown at 11:55. Speaking of Brighton versus Hectorville, we have in the Division 2 reserves the Brighton and Flinders Park team versus Hectorville in the preliminary final. And unfortunately, Hectorville did overcome and beat the Brighton and Flinders team 26-19. So just a 7-point margin. And it was an absolutely great game to watch. Hectorville weren't as accurate as Brighton, although they did beat them. It was 3 goals 8 to 3 goals 1. Port Districts versus Hectorville for the grand final. This team's faced off on the 27th of June in round 10 last, and Port Districts did win by just 12 points. The only thing they were lacking was a bit of accuracy in front of goals, kicking 2 goals 8, which is still a great effort. Hectorville kicking 1 goal 2. So Port District obviously had a lot more of the ball in their forward line in that game. So hopefully they can keep it locked down in the forward line. So Hectorville's defense will really have to try their best to get it out there so they cannot score in the grand final. The grand final will be at, once again, Campbellton Memorial Oval at 10 a.m. So bright and early, kicking the dew off the grass. Get ready for a great game. Heading over to Division 3, these are now all the grand final matchups. So in the grand final, we had Mitcham versus Glenunga. Now, Mitcham had beaten Glenunga in all of the minor rounds until the first round of the finals, the qualifying finals. Glenunga overcame Mitcham and cemented them in the grand final, winning by 5 points. But then Mitcham would beat Westminster to get into the grand final. Mitcham versus Glenunga, the grand final. Mitcham came away with a 14-point win. Unfortunately, Glenunga gave it their all. It was a very close game. Glenunga was leading for majority of the game, and then in the fourth quarter, Mitcham just had an absolutely amazing last quarter. First quarter, it was Glenunga 6-0. Second quarter, 12-9. Third quarter, 20-10. And then in the final quarter, Mitcham just came over on top, ending the game 20-34. So a great 14-point win by Mitcham. Mitcham had a star forward, Addison Howe, kicking 3 of their 5 goals. And best on for Mitcham went to Emily Vivian, and best on for Glenunga was Catherine Damon. So this really shows just how much it is to be consistent throughout all 4 quarters. Unfortunate for Glenunga holding it tight, but then not being able to score in the last quarter, and Mitcham doing nothing but scoring. Next up, we head to Carroll Martin Reserve, the Blair Athol Reserve, and we saw Plympton versus Adelaide Uni. Now, Plympton is a team, after I've seen their team list from the start of the beginning, I knew this was going to be quite a strong team. And I backed it in from the early beginnings that Plympton would be the one to win the finals, and they did. They're extremely accurate in front of the goals, kicking 8 goals 3, Adelaide Uni kicking 0 goals 2. So Plympton won 51-2 with a 49-point win, which is a great game by them. So congratulations. Plympton will definitely be going up to at least Division 3. You'll see them probably in Division 1 in a few years. An absolutely great team and a great side. So congratulations to Plympton for just an overall great season and being undefeated for the entire season. What an achievement. Next up in Division 5, we saw St. Peter's versus Walkerville. Now, Walkerville have defeated St. Peter's every single game. So coming up into the grand final, they were hungry for the win, and that they did achieve. End score went St. Peter's way, 27-18, kicking 4 goals 3 against Walkerville, who kicked 2 goals 6. An absolutely great game, and also a very tight game for both teams. First quarter, both teams were held scoreless, so shout out to the backline for both teams for locking them down. Walkerville 2 points. St. Peter's 1 in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter it was 15-7, and then third quarter 18-19, and then another amazing last quarter 18-27. St. Peter's coming away with the win. So it really shows how important those last quarters are. Every point counts, and how the last 5 to 10 minutes of a game can really impact the score in the end. Heading over to Div 6, we saw Lockleys versus Ingle Farm. And Lockleys did come away with the win 40-12, winning by 28 points, kicking 6 goals 4 to 1 goal 6 at 10 a.m. at Blair Athol Reserve. Now, Lockleys were hungry for it from the get-go. It started off in the first quarter. It was 7-1. Second quarter, they just turned everything around and they were on a streak from there. Second quarter, it was 20-2. Third quarter, 33-10. And then last quarter, 40-12. So a great game, keeping Ingle Farm scoreless for the first half of the game. So an absolutely great effort, and Lockleys have just been dominating all season. A bit unfortunate for West Croydon, who were sitting top of the ladder, only with one loss under the belt in the minor rounds. But Lockleys showed that the underdogs can always come out on top. So Lockleys won 40-12. And that is the remainder of the women's divisions. I'll see you guys next week for Div 1 down to Div 2 reserves to see who wins those grand finals. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys next round.
Welcome back to Between the Posts. It's time for the final word. Thank you for coming in, Tim. Have you had fun?
I had fun, thank you very much. Love talking about the penultimate round. Looking forward to the finals.
Yeah, it's a big one. Thanks to all our great sponsors, the RD Jones Group, and all the sponsors on the show, Archie's and so forth. We give out our prizes to the Settlers, the Midway, and you're all great sponsors. I know Tegan would have covered it, but I just want to give a shout out to these girls. It lasts forever, a premiership. You know, when you're having a bad day, you think back, and to the girls at Mitcham, Plympton, St Peters and Lockleys, you are now premiership heroes. Congratulations and enjoy. And women's football, we up the ante this week even more. Live streamed. It's all coming to you. Tell them all about it, please, Timmy.
So next Saturday, 22nd of August, starting at 10 a.m, we will be live streaming from the Campbelltown Memorial Oval, both the women's grand finals for Div 2 and Div 1, both A grade and reserves. So watch it on the Adelaide Footy live feed page, or if you haven't already subscribed, scan the QR code right now.
Oh, are we excited? My word, we are. Nothing like grand final football. We've had the two Div 1 premier coaches on the show in the last couple of weeks, and they'll meet head-to-head, Belinda Payne and Billy Campbell. Wish you both all the best in the quest for a Division 1 flag. It don't get much better than that. Tim, thanks for joining me. I think you'll be back for the grand final show, won't we?
I hope so.
Do you think your Henley boys might get the chocolates?
I hope so.
I thought you might say that. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to all our great viewers, and we appreciate everything you do supporting the show. We'll be back next week with more Between the Posts.